Until now, this may have been the most enduring image of Osama bin Laden, boasting over his greatest and most diabolical triumph. Bin Laden's gloating performance before a home video camera was the most telling glimpse of a man who, although known the world over, in fact, the world hardly knew at all. His hatred of the U.S. and love of militant Islam was born, it seems, in the 1980s, when the rich kid from Saudi Arabia put his money and his reputation behind the fight against the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. His family construction business in Saudi Arabia had generated a fortune, estimated in the hundreds of millions of dollars, dollars which were funneled into building his own training camp known as Al-Masada, the Lion's Den. With the Soviets defeated, bin Laden turned on his former ally, the United States, and its ongoing involvement in the Islamic world, specifically the continuing presence of American troops in Saudi Arabia. He angrily castigated the Saudi regime for allowing infidel American troops in the land of Islam's holiest shrines, and was stripped of his Saudi nationality. By 1992, even his own family had disowned him, and his life in exile, first in the dust of Sudan, had begun. It was here that he planted the seeds of Al-Qaeda and set to extending a network of hatred, directing and financing terror wherever he could. When the World Trade Center was attacked the first time, killing 6 people, it turned out one of the plotters had been living in Pakistan in a house owned by bin Laden. When 2 American embassies were bombed, this time killing more than 200 people, those on trial admitted Al-Qaeda had been planning the attacks for 5 years. Bin Laden never claimed responsibility, but from the caves of Afghanistan, his message was clear. It was the duty of Muslims, he said, to kill Americans, wherever they were and whoever they were with. The FBI put bin Laden on its most wanted list of terrorists. He had become the Pied Piper of the Jihad, directing his suicidal warriors from behind the protective security of the Taliban regime. Bin Laden felt he had become immune, says Al-Quds editor Abdul Bari Atwan.
When I interviewed him in November in 1996, he said, I left too much. I should be died long time ago when I was fighting the Soviet Union. And I regret I didn't die in that time.
He tried to blow up the Los Angeles airport, but the plot failed when the bomber was caught with a carload of explosives at the Canadian border. He tried again with deadly effect in the port of Aden in Yemen. This time, no one caught the tiny boat full of explosives as it approached the USS Cole. 17 U.S. sailors were killed. But ultimately, bin Laden wanted his war of terror on the U.S. to be waged on American soil. The September 11th attack, the effect of which the world could never have contemplated, seems even to have surprised bin Laden himself. But bin Laden may have been surprised by the world's reaction too. It resulted in broad international support for American action in Afghanistan. And although a link with Al-Qaeda was never proved, it served as part of the supply justification for the US-led invasion of Iraq. It turned Osama bin Laden into a fugitive, but not a repentant one. In the end, Osama bin Laden was undone by his own perverse success, an attack so devastating it caused 2 retaliatory wars and launched the biggest manhunt the world has ever known. Mark Phillips, CBS News, London.
Bam! Assalamu alaikum to everybody. You're looking at the Underground Railroad, and peace and thank God. And you know what I want to say, hi to everybody, and especially the east side of Chicago. But you're looking at us, Underground Railroad, and hi to the people in the U.S., Africa, Central America, Asia, the UK. I'm leaving out somebody. But today my guest is Alderman Virgil Jones. Shalom.
Shalom. I'm out there.
Yes, sir. Tell. I want to ask you, brother, we getting right to the chase, but I want to ask you, what? He's my co-host, and you can see us on YouTube. This will be on YouTube. And I want to ask you, man, about bin Laden. What was your reaction, man, when bin Laden was just snuffed out, was just killed? and not taken prisoner and brought back to the U.S. and put on trial. What was your reaction?
Well,
I'm gonna follow up.
my reaction with the slaying of bin Laden wasn't the reaction of everybody else.
Okay.
Because I viewed bin Laden as being, the way he killed his own people, a murderer. And being a murderer, that's a death sentence in Islam. If you kill me, then I am supposed to kill you. You kill my brother, I'm supposed to kill your brother and you. All right? Now, people have forgotten about that. See, because I don't really view bin Laden as being a practicer of Islam. I don't even think he really knows the meaning of the word, because the word means I am self, law, and master.
Okay.
And it does not espouse going out killing innocent people.
So basically, the U.S. created him. They created the Mujahideen. They created him. Do you think that there are some people that are within the United States of America that should be put on trial since they invented him? And do you think so?
No.
Why not? They invented him.
Can't anybody make you into anything that you don't want to be?
They invented him.
They
They invented him when they was fighting the Soviet Union in Afghanistan by funneling weapons to him and capital to him. I'm saying is they created him. As you may perceive him as a monster, they created him. Why shouldn't individuals be held responsible? They created him.
Well, I don't view anyone that doesn't have my people's all right, position or interest as being a friend of my people. Now you got to keep in mind, in all those countries that he murdered people, all right, allegedly in an effort to fight for Islam. However, if you look at the film, you'll see there was many people who look like us. Not some, all right? Many, all right? And no one can make me into a monster. I can only make myself into a monster.
Well, I'm gonna check. But let me ask you a question in regards to doesn't America? I'm still in Dr. Khalid Muhammad's words of the Nation of Islam. Doesn't America award its killers by awarding General Schwarzkopf, Omar Bradley, General Patton? Did America award their killers? Do they?
America.
Do they give them parades?
Well, let me ask you a question.
No, I'm interviewing.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
You know, because you've been a part of the United States military, that they reward their killers.
Okay.
All right? I have never been a part of the United States military because I personally am a part of the Moorish Republic of Northwest of Mexico. I have my own sovereignty outside of this environment from this corporation that you know as the United States of America Incorporated. And the United States of America Incorporated is a corporation that works with other corporations in the world. So
in your opinion, it was 100% justifiable to kill bin Laden. It was justifiable, 100% in your opinion.
Now you're putting words in my mouth.
I'm asking.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
But I could understand, all right, and you should understand that having been in the military, when you go to a firefight, all right, you can't guess that a person don't have a surprise for you. You got to keep in mind that he did have people blowing up themselves, which is against Islam. Islam doesn't teach people to do that kind of crazy mess. All right. So how do you know he wasn't going to do that?
So would
you take that chance if you were one of the people who were involved with the SEALs?
Interested. I don't know, but
no, you wouldn't.
You know what? But I'm gonna get to the callers. Okay, my question to you is: was Bin Laden, was he wrong for not one U.S. military on Saudi Arabia's soil? Was he wrong for not wanting things corrupting our culture shock, introducing things into society and culture that disrupted the whole society and culture? Was he wrong?
Well, he